Hey guys, this is Miss Farnell. Today we are going to be doing another AGS 1 lesson. This one's going over sets. Sets is separated into 3 different parts, so make sure for this video that you have the sets part 1 note sheet. If you do not have it, go ahead and grab it from the teacher that's in the classroom. You are also going to need a writing utensil, and that's it for this specific lesson. So we were talking about sets. This is a pretty short lesson, just a little half sheet. So first of all, it says, what is a set? Basically, a set is a collection of objects or numbers. One way that I would think about it is, honestly, it's just a list of different things. That's all a set is just a list. So in math, we have a very specific way of notating a list or writing out a list. So this is what it looks like right here. This G is equal to, we got some curvy brackets, and then we got a long list of numbers, and then end it with a curvy bracket. So this G right here is what we call the name of the set, or that's what I would call it. That's what we call the set. We call that set G, essentially. So that's what that is, that first little letter. It doesn't really do anything. It's just the title of it. It's just the name. They just assign it a letter. It could be any letter normally. So in this part over here, so this is indicating all of the different things that you see listed here. So each object or number listed in a set is called an element. So in this case, we do have a specific name for the things that are in a set, and we call those things elements. It just means like, oh, this thing, the way that we'd say it in a sentence is like, we would say, oh, 2 is an element of the set G, or we'd say 2 is in the set G. That's kind of just our way of saying it. So don't ask me why they call them elements. That's just what the name that the math people decided. So for example, if we were to write out a set, if there was a question that asked you to make a set yourself, you would say, so it would have, if set R is all the colors of the rainbow, we would write it like this. So in this question, they give you the name of the set. They give you the R. Just like this was the name, R is the name of this set. So I'm going to title it R, and then equals, and then I'm going to have the curvy brackets. That that letter equals and then a curvy bracket is a part of the set every single time. So I have that written here. After that, I'm just going to list all of the colors of the rainbow, and then I'm done. So the first one would be like red, then we'd have orange, yellow, green, blue, and then purple. One other thing that you'll notice is that in between each thing that I'm listing out here, I am also putting a comma in between them. That is super, oh, I even forgot the comma right there. That is super important, just to indicate the difference between one thing to the next. Like if I didn't put a comma in between this 1 and this 2, it would end up looking like a 12, and we do not want that. So just make sure that you're putting commas in between each thing. So that's what a set looks like. Some other notation, and this is going to be more like the questions that you're actually going to see about sets on your quiz and everything, is you're going to see like a symbol like this. So this symbol means that something is an element of a set or is in the set. So that means that something is in the set or that it's an element of a set. So this is how it's going to be used. So for example, if I'm going back to this set that we just created, this R is equal to all of the colors of the rainbow things. Something that I could say is I could pick a color that's in there. So something that is already an element, aka one of the things in the set, like green. I would say that green is an element of the set R. And I could write that right there. So green, and then I have this little symbol here. It's not well written, but that's what it's supposed to be. So green is an element of R. That's how you would read that. Or we're saying green is in the set R. There you go. So we have this symbol, and then we have another symbol that looks almost identical, but it has a line through it. This means that something is not an element of a set or is not in the set. So for example, if I'm going to go back to our rainbow set example, in this case, like the color silver. Silver is not an element of R. Silver is not one of the things that is listed here. So we would say that it is not an element of R. So you have something that's in the set has this little E looking symbol. Something that's not in the set has the E symbol with a line through it. So that's those kind of things go together. This next one is a little bit different. So in this one we have N and then we have a parenthesis and then A. This capital A is the name of a set. So that is the name of the set. In this case, like with this notation, like the way it's written there, that's just a generic letter that they picked to name it. So that you might see a B in there, you might see a K in there, or a G, anything like that. This could be any letter, but you're always going to see this N out in the front. What does this N represent? It means the number of elements that are in set A. So that just means how many things are in the set. N stands for number. That's how I always think about it. That means the number. And then this thing inside of here is going to tell you which set is it talking about. So in this case, if I'm looking at the number of things in the set R. So I have my little lowercase n out in the front. Then I have the parentheses and then a capital R. This R is just for right now going to represent our little rainbow color set. I'm just going to say, how many things do I have in this set? I'm just going to count them up. So just count them up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 things in this set, so the answer to this question would just be 6. And then that's it. From there, the last little part of this is this symbol right here. This right here stands for subset. And what a subset is so they're just taking a random example of a set A and then a set B. So if set A is a subset of set B, if every element of A is also an element of B. So basically everything that you see in set A is also included in set B. And the way that you would write that out is you would say A, and then you'd have that symbol that they have there, and then B. A is a subset of B is how you would read that. So for example, in this case, we would have to include, like if we're going to use our example, I'd have to include another set in here. So let's call it set W. And let's say that set W has the colors red, yellow, and orange. So we have the colors red, yellow, and orange. In this case, I have red, yellow, and orange in this set. And I also have all of those elements in this first set that I started with. So since this one is kind of like, the way that I look at it is like this set is a smaller version of this set. So in that case, we would say that W is a subset of this set R. It's a smaller set, smaller version of it. So now I'm going to get into the kind of questions that you might see in the quiz related to these things. So we're going to have an example where it says, let M equal the multiples of 4 up to 30. So we have to figure out what those numbers are. I'm just going to show you guys, we're going to write them out really quick. So this is the name of the list or the set. So I'm going to call that M is equal to curvy bracket. And then the multiples of 4 just mean like you're counting up by 4s. So we would start with 4, then 8, then 12. Sorry if you hear something in the background, that's my cat. He's kind of going crazy right now. 24, 28. And then in this case, I'm just going to stop there because if I went any higher than that, I would get above 30. So that's just what the set looks like. You're probably not going to have to do that on the quiz. But after that, it gives us a true or false question. And it's going to ask 7, and then it gives us this symbol. And remember, that means is in. So they're saying, is 7 in the set M? Is 7 in there? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my set and I'm going to see, is 7 in there? And I would say no, it's not in there. So that's a false statement. 7 is not in that set. So now this next statement is also a true or false, and it's asking us, is 14 not an element of M? Like it's saying, the statement is saying 14 is not an element of M. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look and see, do I see 14 in this set? And I do not. It would be right here, and I don't see it. So in that case, 14 is not an element of M, which actually makes this a true statement. So I'm going to say T for true. After that, it says, is N a subset of M if N is equal to 4, 8? So is N a subset of M if n is the set with the elements 4 and 8. So they're basically asking us, is this a smaller version of this set? Is everything that's in here in here? And I'm going to say that that is true. Because this has a 4 and an 8. This one also has a 4 and 8. So both of the things, or all of the things in this set, are in this set. So that is a subset. And then the last one, it says write down NM. Basically, it's asking for, remember, that means the number of things in the set M. How many things are there? So you're just going to count them up. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 elements in there. And then that's it. So these are the types of questions that you're going to see on the quiz for this topic. So at this point, what you're going to do now is you're going to go and show the teacher your notes to show them that you finished them and you watched this video. After that, you're going to take the quiz related to this topic. Once you are done with that, or before taking the quiz, if you'd like, you can ask the teacher some questions, or you can try some practice problems that they have for you already. Just let them know if you need that. If you finish this up, though, what you're going to do after this is you're going to move on to sets part 2, since this is a 3-part series. So after this, you're going to get sets part 2. All right. Have a great time. I'll see you guys in sets part 2.